Welcome back as we continue our discussion on the M16 and AR-15. I have with me a very special guest. His name is Laren Vance. Laren, thanks for coming.
Glad to be here.
Now Laren's brought his own rifle and we're going to show you that in just a few minutes. We want to start out with what is the AR-15, what is the M16, and let me give you an example with my gun. This is pretty much a standard AR-15. The way you can tell, it's got a 20-inch barrel. It's got the full-size buttstock. It's also semi-automatic, and that's the only two choices I have. If you look at the safety on the other side, you see I have the safe and a fire option, and that's all I get. Semi-automatic, if you remember, was defined as one round is fired for every trigger pull. Okay? Love my rifle. I think it's great. It's a lot of fun. Let's take a look at yours, Laren.
Okay.
What do we have here?
This is a Bushmaster A2 16-inch. It's a carbine.
Carbine A2 16-inch. Now let's kind of go through that. What do we talk about when we're saying 16-inch?
Okay, 16-inch is the barrel length.
Okay, from the end of the barrel to the to the receiver there.
Right.
And then you said A2?
Okay, this has an A2 upper, and the difference between the A1 and the A2 is that the sights are different. You have a dial-in sight for the distance and one for the windage down here. Also, the A2 has a round forward assist.
Okay. Also, I understand that the A2, the hand grip, the fact that it's totally round, that's an A2 design too. And there's actually a few other things about the A2, but those are the first visible things that a person would notice when they see your rifle.
Right.
Also, what's the deal here? What happened to the end of your barrel? It's just naked.
Okay. It doesn't have a muzzle brake or a flash suppressor on it.
Okay.
I'm looking at getting one, and that's something that we might ask your viewers what they think would be a good option for this gun.
Yeah, apparently now the military uses a flash hider, flash suppressor known as a A2 birdcage. Is that what it's referred to?
Yeah, that's the one I've been looking at.
You've been leaning that direction.
Right.
If you would like to give a suggestion to Laren on what he ought to get for the end of his barrel, be nice. You can write me, Perry, at assaultriflebasics.com, just like it says right below us here, and to give him a suggestion on what would be a good thing to do. Now, let me ask you, Laren, though, what does a brake suppressor or muzzle brake or a flash suppressor actually do for you?
Well, on this gun, I've noticed that when I shoot the gun, I actually get a little bit of rise. It pulls slightly up. So a muzzle brake will actually compensate for that and keep it, level.
Okay, ready for your next
Sure.
shot. And you can aim that real quick. Well, that's cool. Well, let's take a look at mine real quick. You said you had an A2 design. When I bought my rifle, I really didn't know anything. I just thought it looked cool. And that's why I'm doing the podcast, because I wanted to know more. If you look at my sights, my rear sight, first of all, you can see I don't have the really cool dial that the A2 has for windage. You'll notice that I have just a small dial here that can only be turned with actually a tip of a bullet, I guess was what they used when they had the A1. But this is for windage. Now, to do distance, I had two options. It's just basically a switch here that you flip. The one is set for any target less than 300 meters, and then the other, you just flip it up, is set for any target beyond 300 meters. And that's all they had. This is the configuration. The A1 is what they used in Vietnam. I still have an A2 hand grip here in the front. As you can see on this next photo, the original A1 had kind of a triangular shaped hand grip. You'll notice too that the forward assist, like on yours, had a very round handle. This has kind of a teardrop end, as you can see on this photo. And they just decided to change that. Me, I could care less which way it is, but that's
Right.
what the A2 and the A1. Now, Laren, we've used a few terminologies here that we might have to define. For example, what is the upper or the lower receiver on one of these guns?
Let me show you.
Okay.
Okay. On the gun, you have two pins, one right here and one right here. By removing these pins, you can separate the upper from the lower, and I'll show you how that's done.
You don't really need any special tools to do this.
I just push the pins in. pull the pins out.
There we go.
Okay. And that separates the two.
Oh, that's kind of cool. So the pins actually fit through these loops right here. There's one loop here, and one loop here.
Right.
Okay. And this is known as the upper receiver.
And this is the lower.
Now, interestingly enough, if you go online, you can find that you can basically build your own rifle if you choose to. You can get pretty much the buttstock, the barrel, any part, even the upper, without the need of going through somebody that has an FFL license, otherwise known as a federal firearm license. However, the lower receiver, where the trigger mechanism is, this part, this is where it determines if it's a semi-auto or if it's full auto or a 3-shot burst or what have you. So this has to be bought, through a federally licensed dealer. And otherwise, you can, like I say, you can build the gun totally with just have them directly mailed to your home.
Right.
You might have to go to a store or somebody to get this lower.
I think also because it also carries the serial number of the gun right here.
Right, which you can't see on purpose. We don't want them to catch that. Well, let me ask you, Larry, how about the assembly part? Is that a very difficult thing to do?
No, it's actually quite easy. You just basically line up the two sections and pop the pins in.
Oh, that's
as easy
slick.
as that.
Yeah. Well, listen, thanks a lot for being our guest today. We hope you'll come back and let us know what you decide on the bird cage or the flash suppressor or whatever you're going to get there. And we hope the viewers will give you some suggestions too. Thanks for coming.
Thanks.
Well, that's about it we got for this episode, so I hope you see us next time. Let's cut. We're out of here. Let's go.
Hey, wait. What's your big hurry?
Well, I got a date, dude. I got to get out of here.
You got a date?
Yeah, I got a date. Well, it's internet, but...
You got an internet date?
Yeah, it's an internet date, so what?
I got a question for you.
What?
How do you know it's a girl?
Well, because she talks to me like